Let me tell you, if you've never been humiliated in front of 50 guys at sunrise with sweat still stinging your eyes and the dirt from yesterday's failures still ground into your skin, you don't know what it's like to stand on that field, because the first thing I heard that morning, before I could even catch my breath, was "Nice bruises, princess." Didn't know Fort Kessler had spa days. The words just sliced through the air, thick and dull, like they'd been waiting all night to hit their mark. That was Private Wade Huxley for you. Always itching to prove something, always loud enough to make sure everyone heard, because that's what mattered. The audience. So there I was, tank top plastered to my back, bruises blooming all the way down my arms, sweat streaking the dust in a muddy little rivers. You know, the kind of bruises, I mean, not the ones you get from a single bad day, but the kind you rack up bit by bit because you never quit. My knuckles were raw. My gait had this slight limp, almost invisible if you weren't looking, but my back stayed straight. And behind me, Bravo squad shifted, some of them chuckling, some just staring at me like I was a stray dog that wandered onto their lawn. That's what happens when you're the only woman in the unit and nobody knows your story. There's no welcome parade for you, just rumors swirling around the barracks. Nobody saying anything to your face, just betting on when you'll break. I heard them whispering I was some kind of paper pusher or a transfer recovering from an injury, maybe a sympathy assignment. It's funny how people get bold when they don't have the facts. Huxley called out, "How many push-ups does it take to snap a wrist, Sarge? Or did you just trip over your ego again?" And everybody snickered. That's the sort of laughter that tests what you'll put up with, what you'll ignore. But here's what nobody knew, and they never thought to ask. I wasn't sent here for redemption. I came back because of a debt that only I understood, a kind of silent promise you keep with your ghosts. Up on the little ridge past the perimeter, General Thomas Barkley was watching, hands folded behind his back, face like stone. He saw everything, said nothing, because that was his way. He knew history followed me like a stray shadow, and you don't mess with history unless you're ready for the fallout. I just stood there, letting the heat beat down on me, not saying a word. That always made people more nervous than shouting back. See, respect earned in silence will outlast any applause. And I could feel every bet against me burning a hole in the air. That's when General Barkley finally stepped in, voice low, dangerous, and so calm it made your skin itch. Call sign Widow 27. And just like that, you could feel the field tighten, like someone had drawn a line no one wanted to cross. Even Huxley lost his smirk for a second. "Widow what?" he muttered, looking around for backup that wouldn't come. General Barkley walked down from the rise, his boots slow, fists loose at his sides, looking every inch the man you don't want to disappoint. "You just ran your mouth at Widow 27, son." And all at once, the field didn't just go quiet, it shrank. You know what I mean? Like you suddenly realized you'd stepped onto a stage you didn't belong on. Someone near the back, Keller kid from Arizona, just whispered, "No way. That's her." Because the name Widow 27, that wasn't just a label. It was a story told in the shadows when the lights were out, about a soldier who went off the grid for 5 days, dragging a teammate through hell and back. But legends don't look like people. They're not supposed to stand in front of you, bruised, silent, with dust in their hair and blood on their collar. General Barkley didn't need to raise his voice. He just let the truth hang out there like a threat and a promise. 4 years ago, 7-person recon unit lawn divide. Hostile, freezing, cut off. He told the story slow, every word heavy. Supposed to take 2 days, took 8. Ambushed. 2 gone fast. 1 bled out before dawn. 1 vanished, never found. 3 left. He didn't have to say which one I was. 1 with shrapnel in his chest, 1 specialist out cold. Last 1 shot through the thigh. No painkillers, no evac. Just 12 miles of ice and darkness. He looked at me, and for the first time, I could feel everyone seeing not just the bruises, but the miles, the silence, the choices. She carried the comms guy, dragged the wounded. No backup, no air support, just grit. And in that moment, my mind was back there, frost burning my lips, blood in the snow, breath turning thin and panicked, the voice of the guy on my back saying, "If I pass out, don't stop." So I didn't, even when my vision blurred, even when I had to crawl the last 300 yards because my leg wouldn't work anymore. But right there, under the Wyoming sun, my hands dug into my palms because those ghosts, they never leave you. Even after you survive, you keep carrying them. Barclay's words split the silence. You think she came back for glory? She came back because not everyone who leaves the fire ever really leaves it behind. That hit the squad harder than any punishment. Not fear, not even guilt. Just something that didn't have a name, kind of respect you don't say out loud. He turned back to the formation. You think command sent her here? She has to come back. Not to hide, not to collect medals, but to teach the next generation. Not with words, but with scars. The way he said it, you could tell it wasn't for show. It was because if you forget what pain teaches, people die. And came back to make sure these kids got it, bone deep. Nobody said anything after that. Because sometimes the biggest lessons don't need a speech. They just need someone standing in front of you who's walked the distance, someone who returned not because she had to, but because she couldn't leave the job undone. Huxley walked off the field that day, head down, the swagger gone, and the silence that followed him was louder than any insult he could have thrown. Later, at Chow, everything felt different. People talked quieter, laughed less, and in the back, I sat alone as usual until, one by one, recruits found their way to my table. No fanfare, no apologies, just quiet trays set down, a few nods, and then someone's eyes flicking over, not with pity but with understanding. The youngest one leaned in, whispered, "Why, widow 27?" And I just kept eating, voice steady, because I've buried 26 of my team. I'm number 27. The table went still. No one needed to ask anything else. That silence wasn't awkward, it was sacred. So, if you ask me what real leadership looks like, it's not medals or headlines or stories told around campfires. It's showing up, broken and tired, because you remember what it's like to be left behind. It's teaching the next ones to stand tall, even when the world tries to shove them down. Strength doesn't need a spotlight. It just bleeds quietly, trains without praise, and stares down cowards until they remember what respect actually means. That night, nobody gave a speech. Nobody said, "Thank you, Sarge." They just sat there, ate, and stayed. And for the first time since I'd come back to Fort Kessler, I didn't eat alone. So, tell me, where do you stand on what real strength means? Does it come from pain, from persistence, from never backing down, or something else entirely? I'd love to hear what you think, because in the end, the scars we carry only matter if we use them to make things better for the next person in line. Share your story. Let's talk about what respect, leadership, and second chances truly mean.